Hello, graduating class of 2025, parents, faculty, and friends. It's such a pleasure to be with you, even though I'm not with you in person. As you listen to this, I'm flying somewhere over Canada from Vancouver back to my home in Toronto. I truly wish I could be with you to celebrate your achievements of graduating with a master's in creativity and change leadership in real time. Congratulations to you all. I also want to thank the faculty for the honor to speak with you and to be recognized for my work in creativity and to be amongst the amazing alumni of the year who've come before me. It's humbling and I'm really moved, especially because I never imagined this would be my path. When I first heard about the Masters in Creativity and Change Leadership, it was during a coffee in downtown Toronto with Janice Francisco, an esteemed alumni. I was exploring grad programs a couple of years after graduating from business school and having spent time in corporate Canada. Most options didn't quite fit. Then Janice started to describe this program. She also had the opportunity while in the program to work with Blair Miller and Sarah Thurber. I remember saying, wait a second, this sounds like something I'd really love. So she encouraged me to talk to Dr. Cindy Burnett, and after one conversation, I knew it. This is where I needed to be. So in 2026, I packed up my car and found myself driving that 90-minute stretch between Toronto and Buffalo, stepping into my first class with Dr. Mary Murdoch. The room was filled with brilliant, curious people from around the world. Turkey, Australia, Denmark, England, the US, and a few Canadians just like me. I looked around the room and thought, my goodness, this is not just an academic program. There's something really special here. But I'll be honest with you, sitting there on day one, I felt a little bit like a fraud. I came from the very serious world of business. What was I doing in a creativity program? I thought to myself, I'm not creative. Maybe they made a mistake in letting me in. And then something started to crack open. Dr. Murdoch introduced us to the creative process and built so much context around it. Suddenly, I felt like I was drinking water from a year's thirst. I realized I've been creative all along. I just didn't have the place where that creativity was recognized or nurtured. I also didn't have the language to describe my own creativity. In business school, I was taught to defend my thinking to the grave. We could ask questions, but doubt was a weakness. I loved my business school education, but I had to start to unlearn some of that in my program. The same for my corporate years in marketing. I was told to hit targets, which were handed from the top down. No space for exploration and curiosity. That was for the ad agency only. And when I tried to include our sales team or the manufacturing group in creative conversations, I was told, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. It all felt so very wrong. Then I came here and understood why those ways of working weren't working. There was a low level, or maybe high level of hostility to the creative climate dimensions. And they weren't really interested in true collaboration. That's when I started to learn about divergent and convergent thinking. I learned that creativity is useful. It's not just novel. It solves real problems that we face. And while I was doing this, I was having so much fun in the classroom, not out of the classroom, but actually in the classroom. I remember laughing in Dr. Murdoch's class as she acted out the difference between when she would say divergent thinking and then convergent thinking. And every time all of us started to get up and get out of our seats and join her. We even had sticky notes with little naps printed on them to place on our desks when we needed a mental timeout. Not because we were napping, or at least not all of us, but because this program honored the natural rhythms of human thinking. What struck me most was the humility of this faculty. There was no sage on the stage. We were co-learners in real dialogue. They respected and wanted to hear about all the experience that got us here. That kind of collaborative spirit runs through the whole program. People share generously. Papers, frameworks, ideas, it's all fair game. I came from a world of intellectual property where sharing was discouraged, or at least it cost you a lot of money to access and use. Here it's about building on each other's work and giving back. How beautiful is that? When I graduated 2 years later, just like you are today, I knew this was just the beginning. I wanted to stay connected, attend conferences, read the works of others, and keep learning because this program isn't a moment, it's a movement, and now you're a part of it. Back in 2006, when I told the US Border Patrol I was doing a master's in creativity, and that's why I was driving to Buffalo, they'd look at me a little bit sideways, maybe even laugh. What, they'd ask? They did frantically Google it to see if it was a real thing. But over the past decade or so, the world has finally caught on to us. No longer do we have to hide creativity in the corner because people and business leaders recognize it's a strategic necessity. And more importantly, it's a way of being. You spent the last 2 years not just doing creativity, but being creative. You've built emotional intelligence, learned to lead with empathy, developed your own unique creative superpowers, worked collaboratively and creatively, and learned about the power of the different stages and energies of the creative thinking process. And now you're ready to build on all of that and put it into the world. When I graduated, I pivoted my business completely. It's now 23 years old. I saw clearly at the time leaders needed to understand how to lead creative projects and teams and build creative cultures. And often, what people were calling innovation, and I heard this a lot, it was really about creativity. Innovation's the scaling or the commercializing part. Creativity's the spark. It's the human ingenuity. Without that creative spark, there's nothing to scale. Since then, I've had the pleasure of leading and delivering programs all over the world. And while they often have innovation in the title, I know that really what I am developing in these leaders is a creative capability. And because without it, none of the frameworks that we're working on would actually work. So now we're in the age of AI. And while it's a very exciting frontier, it's also a reminder that human ingenuity and creativity matters more than ever. Machines can synthesize, they can now at rapid speed put out so much content, but humans actually create. And now you know how to unlock that in yourselves and others. Creativity shows up everywhere, in workplaces, in communities, in families. My son, who's now 15, is wildly creative. He hasn't done this program. And if I hadn't done this program, I may not have recognized it. He's a handful for sure, but a brilliantly original one. And I love every bit of it. My job as a parent is to just get out of his way and protect and nurture that creativity from the systems that want to tame it. So whatever your pathway is now, corporate, educational, entrepreneurial, sports, in communities, remember creativity belongs there, and you belong there as a creative leader. Let me leave you with this. Your immediate cohort is very powerful, but your true cohort now includes a global network of creative change leaders. Stay connected, come to conferences, keep learning, keep creating, and someday, maybe 5, 10, 15 years from now, I hope I'm watching you give this speech as an alumni of the year. Congratulations, class of 2025. The world needs what you've learned here, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. Thank you so much, and I will see you on your journey.